What makes human unique and different to animal? Primates, for instance, they also able to love and take care of their child. But we are most likely the only creature that transmits stories from one generation to the next. Steve Jobs once said, "The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller." We humans are the only ones who can resist stories and spend a lot of time in the land of make-believe. In these videos, you will find out why. Socrates Inc. present The Storytelling Animals, How Story Make Us Human, the summary, from the author Jonathan Gottschall. Note number 1. Our lives are filled of made-up tales that always seem to center around conflict. Your brain spends a good amount of time away from reality, whether you are aware of it or not. Your thoughts are wandering to distant beaches while you are at work. It attends Hogwarts class in the evening and fight to get away from zombies' teeth at night. All of these illusions are stories and we are hooked on them. Actually, we daydream far too much. One study found that we have roughly 1,000 daydreams per day, which each lasting on average 14 seconds. We spend a total of about 4 hours each day daydreaming. Strangely, no matter where or how you encounter them, these stories are frequently follow the same format. Simply put, a tale is about a character trying to solve a problem, whether it be Harry Potter facing Voldemort or a knight saving a princess. In other words, there is trouble in every story. After all, who would want to read a story about a person who spent all day lying on a sunny terrace and only gets up to go to fridge or bathroom? Even while it can appear like a pleasant way to live, the story is very uninteresting. Story is made more intriguing by tension. Note number 2. Stories can help us prepare for real life. Why does evolution make us want to read stories? How do stories improve our condition in a world where only the strongest survive? It's partly because stories frequently have practical application. We can experiment with various responses to situations and gain experience through fictional stories without ever having to face consequences in real life. For instance, you can somewhat experience how you will respond if you come across a tiger in the wild, or what you will do if you learn that your spouse has been having an affair just by using your imagination. Consider it as similar to flight simulator, where pilots train in simulated cockpits before taking off on actual aircraft. Similar to this, we practice solving real-world issues through stories. Our social abilities can be enhanced by these simulations. According to one study, those who read a lot of fiction have higher social skill than people who read non-fiction. They become more adept at understanding others and resolving conflicts as a result of all the practice they receive from engaging imaginary conflict. Our brains make the stories seem real even when we know they are made up. This was demonstrated by a study that neuroscientist Anna Crandall carried out. While participating in the study, participants watched a Clint Eastwood Western while having their brains scanned. The viewer's brain reacted in the same way that Eastwood did whenever he or she displayed extreme anger or sadness in the film. As we can see, stories cause our brain to experience the same or similar range of emotions as the character in the story. We experience a tale as though it were truly happening to us rather than just perceiving it. Note number 3. Dreams are bedtime tales that aid in brain learning. You can wind up spending a lot of money on books, movies, or Netflix subscription. But you get a free private screening of someone dealing with strange and existential issues every single night. Even better, you get to be protagonist of the adventure. Naturally, we refer to these midnight tales as dreams. It's interesting to note that dreams frequently adhere to common narrative format. Like all good stories, your dreams are about hero or heroine, usually you, who is trying hard to get something. To put it another way, most dreams involve some type of challenge. According to a study of dream reports, 860 out of 1,200 dreams contain at least one threat. In actuality, dreams are about being attacked or pursued are the most frequent, followed by dreams about falling, drowning, and so forth. Similar to other types of storytelling, dreams are used as form or practice for actual events. Your brain is unaware that what is happening in dream is not real. For instance, if you dream that you are being attacked by zombies, your body will actually get messages from your brain telling you to either attack the zombie or flee. Fortunately, evolution gave rise to atonia or sleep stillness, which inhibit those signals from reaching the body and stop us from really carrying out our nightmares, protecting both us or others with whom we share our bed. Your brain is truly learning while it is handling these imagined problems. In reality, studies have shown that the brain continues to create new connections when dreaming, which implies that the brain picks up new information. Even if we frequently forget our dreams, the lessons we have learned are still valid. Instead, it is stored in subconscious or implicit memories. Although the information is present, your conscious mind is unable to access it. That knowledge will only appear when we need it, as in the face of threat or appear out of nowhere. Note number 4. Our minds use information to create deep narrative, yet occasionally things go wrong. Your mind is eager to identify significant patterns in chaotic world and use them to construct stories. However, on occasion, this urge to understand the world can be so strong that it causes our storytelling mind to go berserk and create untrue explanation for what has happened. One fantastic illustration of this is conspiracy theories. These theories create a cogent and satisfying narrative using factual knowledge. Even though these tales could be wholly untrue, they still provide believers the ultimate solution that are straightforward but comforting. It's not just crazy people who believe in conspiracy theories. In fact, people of all social backgrounds and educational level find them to be incredibly appealing. Our minds are indeed attached to purpose and intolerant to randomness. Because of this, we often make up stories out of random facts to try to make sense of the world. Note number 5. Our belief and action are shaped by stories. Good novels, it is believed, can alter your life. Furthermore, a good story has the power to unite a nation. However, how do stories manage to do this? It all comes down to their system of good guys and bad guys. Stories typically involve a decent character whose integrity and value we will respect. Then there is a terrible guy who opposes the good guy and receives our condemnation. Stories can be used to alter people's behavior because this framework makes it plain what is good and bad. Consider the 1852 book Uncle Tom's Cabin as an illustration. In this story, Uncle Tom the slave is the good man, while the slave owners are, quite appropriately, the bad ones. Readers develop a sense of empathy for Uncle Tom and hate for the action of white slave owner as a result of learning about the horrible effect of slavery. Some claims that this book was the catalyst for civil war since it drastically changed people's perception. Story accomplishes much more than merely teaching us what is right and wrong. In actuality, fiction has a profound impact on our core ideals and beliefs. The more emotionally invested we are when reading a tale, the more it influences our opinions since its stories can spread contagious feeling. For instance, a study indicates that respondents were more likely to be against premarital sex after reading a narrative about it going badly. Unbelievably, narratives have a more powerful impact on our attitudes and actions than logical justification. Note number 6. Everyone enjoys telling the tale of their life, although it is not always true. Shakespeare famously remarked that all the world is theater, and, if we may add, your entire life has been a first-person narrative. Unfortunately, that story isn't 100% accurate. Our memories serve as the foundation for the narrative of our life. But because of how inaccurate our memories are, our life stories frequently don't reflect reality. We don't have flawless records of every second of our life in our recollection. We frequently forget both little, particular, and significant life events, and we make up stories to make up for it. Not only are our life tales significantly inflated by wholly fabricated recollection, but we also have a propensity to believe that we are far more brilliant than we actually are. Being the good guy in our own story is essential to who we are. Nobody likes to play the antagonist. Therefore, whenever we do something well, we promote it. Yet, whenever we do something wrong, we either completely conceal it from the storyline or describe it in a way that negates our responsibility. Note number 7. Storytelling is evolving, and as a result, it is growing more and more addicting. Some individuals think that storytelling itself is going to extinct along with the habits of reading literature, which is disappearing. They are completely mistaken. Fiction is not going away. Simply put, it appears different now than it did before. Even though very few people read poetry these days, poetry is still around us because song lyrics on the radio are essentially musical poetry. Future readers will consume stories in entirely different ways. Take, for instance, the rising acceptance of massively multiplayer online role-playing games or MMORPGs. By creating a character, adhering to a plot, and going on adventures, the MMORPG player actively participates in the narrative. Most importantly, the player can influence the plot, effectively making her a co-author. We will probably encounter many stories in the future by acting them out for ourselves in virtual environments. Obviously, stories won't stop existing. Contrarily, there is serious dangers of overconsumption because stories are become more persuasive. As you now know, the value of stories to people and civilization is enormous, but only if you avoid developing an addiction to them. Final key summary. Stories are present in everything, whether it be professional wrestling like WWE, advertising, or even our nocturnal dreams. Our innate love of stories has served us well throughout our evolutionary history, and they still have a significant impact on our daily life and worldview today. I hope this video is helpful. Please subscribe to our channel so we can make more content like this. If you have any question or would like more information, I recommend checking out the book for a more in-depth exploration of the concept discussed. And now it's time for you to tell your stories. Thanks for watching.